Uh, so it's we're in the midst of a few sports seasons with our boys, and I know I talk about sports probably maybe too much when it comes to our kids. It is not the focal point for us, right? But our kids enjoy sports, and so we put them in these activities. And right now, my oldest son, 12 and a half, he's in the midst of fall ball with baseball. And so we were at practice on Friday night. Friday nights is hitting practice. So we go up to the cages and we run the guys through the pitching machine. We do some other drills with them. And I was running the pitching machine on Friday night. And one of the kids, who's a pretty good player, but he had gone through his kind of turn in the cage, hitting off the machine, and hit really well. And he's picking up all the balls, and he walks up and he said, "Man," he said, "if only every pitcher would just throw strikes like right down the middle, like every time, I'd be a really good hitter. Like I'd be a great hitter." And I kind of laughed. I said, "Well, sure, but that's not how it works. You've got to learn to hit imperfect pitches." Right? Because even strikes, right? Strikes are not always right down the middle. It can be high and be a strike. It can be low and be a strike. It can be a little more outside or a little more inside and be a strike. So even a strike is not necessarily a fastball right down the middle. But if it was that easy, wouldn't it be nice? Right? If only everything was perfect. If only everything was set up exactly how I wanted it to be, exactly how I needed it to be or think I needed it to be, then I could be a good hitter. Then I could be successful. Then I could be a good ball player. And I said, here's the other thing, man. As you get older, right, number one, right now, strikes are not always clear strikes, right? Again, it's not just a fastball right down the middle. It could be kind of all over. And especially at age 12 and 13, what an up calls a strike is always debatable. But as they get older, I said, you're going to get curveballs, you're going to get sinkers, you're going to get breaking balls, you're going to get sliders. You're going to get all sorts of pitches thrown your directions, and pitches that are going to look like it's a ball, but they're going to end up being a strike. Pitches that are designed to trick you into not swinging at what ends up being a great pitch. So you can't wait for perfect, right? You've got to hit your pitch. You've got to be ready to make contact and hit an imperfect pitch. I watched a batting instructor for a major league team one time. He was talking about, or he's a batting instructor and kind of their mental performance coach, saying it's not about how technically sound your swing is. It's about how confident you are in your swing, right? Maybe do you have to have your A swing to get a hit, or are you confident in your B swing or your C swing, right? Odd pitch, odd timing, things are weird. Are you confident you can get the bat on the ball? Do you have what it takes? Because at the end of the day, it takes what it takes. Right? An imperfect pitch, imperfect swing. Do you have the confidence to go up and make contact in an imperfect situation? And that's life, right? When it comes to mindset, I think so many people are paralyzed by this idea of perfection. And we've talked about it before on Monday Mindset. But we just think, man, if only my boss would do this, if only the right opportunity would show up, if only all of these things were in place, if only I had the time to write the book, if only I had the resources to get healthy, if only I had, whatever it may be. But we just come up with excuses like, things just aren't perfect. Man, I would have gotten a hit, but he didn't throw me the perfect pitch. 3 of 3 strikes. As our boys coach likes to say, one of them, yeah, you may not like it, but you get 3 chances, right? They're going to throw you if either they walk you or they hit you, but they're going to throw you 3 good ones, 3 that you have to take action, that you can't wait for. They're not going to be perfect, but they're going to be good enough. But in life, we sit around waiting for perfect. Everything has to be just how I like it, just how I want it, with no risk, with no issues, with no opportunity for failure. Like, I just need to step in and be able to get the hit. I need it to be set up perfectly for me. And friends, that's a lie, right? Perfect does not exist. And that lie that we're believing about perfect ultimately is holding us back from progress. Right? Because again, let's go back to baseball. You stand in the box every at bat waiting for the perfect pitch. There's a chance you strike out every single time, because they could throw you 3 strikes, 3 good pitches, 3 imperfect, but good pitches, good enough pitches. And you were waiting on perfect, so you missed your opportunity. You convinced yourself, just not yet. I just need a few more of this. I just need a little bit more of that. I just need a little bit longer. Right? Tomorrow I'll be ready. Well, we keep saying tomorrow. Today requires that you take action. Right? We've been living a lifetime of tomorrows. Oh, tomorrow I'll do that. Tomorrow I'll do this. Tomorrow I'll get started. Tomorrow I'll make and we keep waiting, right? Every tomorrow is filled with another tomorrow. And as we just talked about, we don't have unlimited time. So there has to be a sense of urgency and a focus on making progress, not on perfection. You're not going to have the absolute right environment. You're not going to have the absolute perfect opportunity. You're not going to have just enough resources or just enough time or just enough influence or just enough whatever you think you're missing. You're never going to have the right amount because you don't even know what the right amount is. That's the big piece with perfection, is that it paralyzes us because we're waiting for something that's not even known. We can't define what does perfect mean. What's the perfect situation for you to speak up in a meeting? What's the perfect situation for you to start a business? What's the perfect situation for you to go mend that relationship? What's the perfect situation for you to start to get healthy? Like what is it? What do things actually have to look like for you to start? Most of the time that we don't even know. And so we're withholding from something that's not even real. We're being held back by a scenario that we don't even know exists. It's all a lie in our head, designed to keep us from moving forward, designed to keep us from getting better, designed to keep us from making progress. And again, that's the goal. So I think part of the challenge for us, part of the question for us today on Monday Mindset is, what lies about perfection are you believing? How is this need, this unhealthy and this unrealistic need for perfection actually holding you back? How is it preventing you from making progress? And that's the thing that you have to see before you will take action, before you'll change, because you'll keep delaying, right? You'll keep delaying, you'll keep waiting for the perfect moment. You'll keep seeking perfection or waiting on perfection until you realize what waiting on perfection is actually doing to you, until you realize that it's actually preventing you from becoming who you are meant to be, from doing what you are meant to do. And so get clear on the lies of perfection that are holding you back, and get clear on the impact of those lies. Realize, like, wait a minute, that's actually preventing me from doing the thing I want to do. It's preventing me from doing the thing that I say that I care about. It's preventing me from the progress that I need. Once you realize that pain, right? Like, man, the pain isn't waiting on perfection. The pain is what the way to perfection is costing you. And there's a pain there, and you have to realize, like, that pain goes away when you take a step. That pain goes away when you take ownership. Say, no, I don't need this and this and this and that. I just need to go. I just need to move forward. I just need to take a step. I just need to leap. I just need to get started. And the beauty is that you have that opportunity. Nobody's stopping you except your brain, except your mind. Your mind is what prevents you from making progress, because you are fully capable. You have everything you need right now to do what you need to do. I believe that. You have what you need to get started. You have what you need to make progress. You just have to make the choice. What am I going to be about today? Am I going to be about perfectionism, which means I'm about nothing, which means I'm about sitting and idling and complaining and making excuses? Or am I going to be about progress? Am I going to say, yeah, it's messy, it's imperfect, it's not exactly what I want it to be, it's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I'm going to go up, I'm going to swing the bat, I'm going to get a hit. Because that pitch may not be right down the middle like I wanted it to be, but it's good enough. It's good enough for me to get the bat on the ball and to make contact. Your opportunities in front of you are good enough for you to do something with it. Your influence is good enough for you to do something with it. You have the time, you have the opportunity, you have the resources. It's just right in front of you. So today, will we pursue progress instead of waiting on perfection? Because, friends, we're going to be waiting forever. If perfection is what we're waiting on, we're going to be waiting a long time. What's going to happen? We talk about that limited time. You're going to move down life, and you get to 70, to 75, to 80, maybe even to 50, 55, 60. And you're going to look back like, I wish I would have. Man, I actually did have what I needed. I was waiting on nothing. And if you're like me, hopefully, like, you don't want to live with regret. You don't want to look back with regret. Like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I wish I wouldn't have waited. I wish I would have just taken the step. Well, you have the chance to do that today. Life isn't about perfect steps. It's about imperfect progress. So today we can make progress. We can choose to show up on purpose. We can choose to take ownership of our situation and say that our circumstances don't define us. We get to own our circumstances. So today, show up and be about progress. Ignore the lie of perfection. It's not real, and it's preventing you from everything you want to do and be and become. Perfection is the enemy. Just make progress. Tracy, any thoughts on that? Any questions on that? Any feedback?
It's awesome. It's really good. I am not a perfectionist myself, really.
Mm-hmm.
I like things done well, but I don't really focus on the details. My husband probably would say he's more of a perfectionist, but I keep thinking of the expectations.
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. You set it up for us, that expectation scale, because I'm thinking that we put expectations on ourselves that we would never put on someone else, right?
That's right. That's right. So the expectation scale, as Tracy finds it, we use it a lot with teams, right? Or do you have, like, what are your expectations for the person across from you, right? For your teammate, for your leader, for your employee, for your spouse, for your kids? What do you expect from them? And do they know it? And have you communicated those expectations clearly? But the big piece is, where are those expectations? Because it's one thing to just have expectations and to have communicated those expectations, but are those expectations impossible? Are they unrealistic? Are they realistic? Are they limited? Have you just given up on someone? So your expectations, you just given up, right? Your expectations are resigned, which means they're just going to continually operate at a very low level because that's what you expect from them, right? We know that putting unhealthy, unrealistic, impossible expectations on others is a burden on them. We put an expectation on them that they can't live up to. And that's on us, right? It's not on them. That's on us. But we do the same thing for ourselves. And perfectionism is an impossible expectation. And so if you're putting this idea of perfect on you, on your work, on your communication, on your influence, on your relationships, on your situation before you get started, everything falls apart. That's a burden that you can't carry. That's an unnecessary and unhealthy burden. Impossible expectations are an unhealthy burden on other people, but also on you. And so you've got to get really clear, like, wait, what do I actually need to get started? Like, be really clear, be really honest. Like, I think I need all this. I believe that I need all this, but I actually just need this. And I have that. I'm good to go. I can run. I can start. I can get moving. I can make progress. For me personally, I think a really healthy place to live, and I use this with teams, but also for me, is right on that border between unrealistic and realistic. Because that's how you don't get complacent, right? The expectations aren't so high that you're burdening yourself, but they're also not in a place where you're just going to get safe and comfortable and complacent and average. And so if you have those expectations somewhere on that border between realistic and unrealistic, you're in a good spot. You can make some progress, but you always know that better is possible, right? You can always get just a little bit better. You can always make just a little bit more progress, and just keep reaching out, right? That's how you don't climb Everest in one day, right? You don't go from base camp to the top. It's step by step by step. And you keep having that challenge, that expectation is that tomorrow you get a little bit higher, and tomorrow you get a little bit higher, and tomorrow you get a little bit higher until you get where you want to be. And so I think living in that tension between the realistic and the unrealistic is how we grow and how we get better.
That's great. That's really good advice. So if someone's just stuck, they're just paralyzed by fear. I mean, I have a friend that she wants to paint her house, but I mean, she said that for 2 years. She can't seem to make a color decision. I mean, that's a small thing, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, what's the first thing you would tell her? If she's paralyzed by perfection, I want it to be just right. I don't want to pick the wrong color. Well, I would say to try it. And if it's the wrong color, go back to the store and get a new one, right?
That's right. I think one, I mean, that's part of what I would say is just do it.
Yeah.
Right. You're not going to know if you love it or hate it until you do it. And you clearly don't like what you have right now. Otherwise you wouldn't be having the conversation about painting it. And so you're not going to, your taste, you're not going to make it worse than it is. So whatever you do, it's going to be better. It may not be right. It may not be perfect. It may not be exactly what you wanted, but it's going to be better than what you have. So that will immediately create some more peace. But to your point, like, if you don't love it, okay, go get some new paint, right? It's not like you're buying a house that you don't like, and you're like, wait a minute, all of a sudden I hate this house. It's the cost isn't that great, right? And so you do it, and then you make another decision if you need to. But I think even to go even more simple, like, what's the one thing you need to do to get started? Just go buy paint. Like, do that first. Go buy paint first. And for some people, like, depends on their mindset, some of it's personality. Like, if they buy the paint, they're not going to want to waste the paint. So buying the paint will be like, well, now I have to use it. And so I think making the small commitment, even though again, cost could be an issue, whatever, but just go and buy the paint. That gets you taking a step. Okay, now I've made some progress, even though I haven't painted anything yet. I've taken the first step. Okay, well now go tape the windows and tape the trim. Okay, now just so breaking it down into small steps, and that builds some momentum. Like, okay, we're really doing this. But I think so much of it is taking the fear out of it. Like, well, what's the real cost? Because in our mind, there's probably some great cost to painting it the wrong color. Oh, I'm going to hate it. It's going to be miserable. It's like, it's actually, we over exaggerate things. Fear and insecurity causes us to over exaggerate things. Like, it's actually not going to be that bad. It's just paint, and you can redo it. It's not a permanent thing. It's fixable. And so I think breaking down the process and realizing the actual cost of where they're at right now, you hate the walls, you don't like it, you're not happy, to the cost of what happens if you don't like the paint. Yeah. Now the odds are that you will like the paint because you've done 2 years worth of homework. You probably have a couple options. So you're going to pick a good option. Again, that's going to be better than what you have.
True. That's
or offer
good.
to go paint it with her. Hey, I'll help you. You don't have to do it alone. I'll come help. I'll paint the house with you.
Yeah, I start feeling bossy though when I start. I'll go to Sherwin-Williams with you. I'll go, but then I start feeling pretty bossy. So,
but sometimes I think people need that kind of kick in the pants. You know, like, you know what? You're never going to do it unless I push you.
Someone pushes you.
And that's okay, right? Because it's a loving push, right? You're not pushing them over the cliff. It's like, no, you need someone to go with you. It's almost thinking of the change equation, right? She's dissatisfied. Well, do you have a vision for it? Yeah, she has an idea of what she wants it to look like, right? She has probably a couple colors in mind. Okay, well, what's the natural next step? I need to go buy the paint. Okay, well, allies to walk alongside you. Oh, Tracy, will you help me with this? Sure, let's go. And it's, again, fear causes us to make things so much bigger than they are. The issue itself, the project itself, the cost itself, the time. It's like, things aren't that big of a deal. Just get started.
That's right. That's good. Very good advice. Okay. I love the expectation scale, especially when you put the lens of just looking at it for yourself. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks once again. Great. Appreciate it. We'll see all of you next Monday, same place. Thanks, Kevin.
See you guys.